FlossTube. This is Shanda coming to you from along the Continental Divide, although now I'm not up in my mountain house. I'm down in our southwestern Idaho domain. And I'm sure, like for many of you, it has been kind of a wild and crazy summer. Everything from trips to sadly a death, not in my family, but of a dear friend, eye problems to I decided to go back to work part-time, but it's only during the school year, and I'll tell you about that here in a minute. But welcome to my channel, Stitching in Idaho, where I will share mainly all cross stitch today, but sometimes I share quilting and cross stitching. I did do a lot of quilting up in my mountain home. That's where my gamel is, where I quilt for customers. But I don't have any of my own. I will have one next time, but I can't show it because it is for a friend for a fall package. She knows who she is, and I can't show it because she'll see it. But I do have one FFO fully finished that's on the old side. I have 3 finishes, a couple projects that I'm working on, and then what I want to start for fall. So let's get started. The first thing I want to show is something that I finally dug out from the dark depths of who knows where. This is, let's see if I can do this without the glare. This is my husband and I. We were married in 1987. And when I sent this to a friend, she said, just babies. And I said, yes. To myself, we are just babies there. But that was our one of our wedding pictures in 1987. This frame is very dated. Do this. It's just on, like, I want to say it's like 14 count Ada, a double wedding ring pattern, and the popular colors for the day were that seafoam green and mauve. But yes, in June we celebrated 36 years of marriage, and this is I thought about reframing this, but no, I'm just gonna leave it just the way it is. Anyway, 1987, that's a long time ago FFO. The other FFOs I finished this summer. That one was a long time ago, but from the book Hollyhock, absolutely from Hollyhock Farm. This is Stacy Nash, a really old pamphlet. It's a book with 7 or 8, 9, 10 charts in it. I can't really open it. This is the one that I finished. Let's go like this. This is called 1776 Flower Urn, and I loved the flag on this one. And I did get it finished. I finished this right around the middle of July, actually. Don't know what it's on. It looks like it might be on, I know I did it 1/1, and it looks like it's about 28 count. 26 or 28 count. And I did change the color of the flowers. They were that rust, or excuse me, they were a white. And I just didn't think they were going to show up very good, so I made them blue to kind of pull out that blue in the flag. I don't know what I'm going to finish this as, but it's my 1776 flower urn. Stacy Nash does not disappoint. She is one of my very favorite designers, and she does not disappoint. Primitive, yet I don't know, there's just something with her colors. And this one was kind of a long time in coming. Kind of tells you what the clue is, and right here, this is my O Tannenbaum. It's called O Tannenbaum from Brenda Gervais. Brenda is another one. There's so many designers that just do not disappoint. I don't have time to stitch it all. I've kind of gotten over that. But O Tannenbaum, some followers and I and friends, we decided to take each motif and stitch it over a 2-month period. So I believe this one was December, January, February, March, April, May, June, July, and then this one was August, September. And I did just finish mine. My box is painted. I don't have this mounted yet, obviously, but oh, and I just squished it because I ironed it so nice for you guys. But here they all are. This is the one that was done recently. This is Snowflake. And there's the jolly old Santa himself. And the Oh Christmas Tree, Oh Christmas Tree. And then these two go this way. Brenda was pretty specific in her directions on how to stitch this. So some were stitched vertical and some were stitched horizontal, but you could turn your hoop, obviously. And there are the other two. So now I will get this mounted. Probably show it next time. I think my main goal for this one was I just wanted to have it ready for this Christmas. I didn't want to drag this one out over, you know, a 2 or 3 year period, but just the sheep. So many nice sheep and so many elements in this that I just loved. And they were small enough so you didn't feel like you were taking on this huge project. You could do one motif or one chart over a 2-month period. And I think it was my last maybe December 1st start. I can't really remember, and I didn't write it down. But now it's done and made it much more manageable. And the last finish I had was, oh, where is her chart? Elizabeth Charlene by La Di Da. I was also stitching this with Lisa and a couple others. This one was stitched on 36 count hog bristle by Fox and Rabbit. And there it is. On all its glory. I think for the bulk of the summer, I was down to just this corner. And I dragged it out and dragged it out and dragged it out. Between helping to take care of my mother and some of her doctor's appointments, and I want to say I kind of have a part-time job in the summer. I help to drive the Amish places where they need to go. And then one of my Amish friends passed away very young, very unexpectedly. And we're still waiting to hear why. But I sat on this for the longest time. I did not have the oomph to stitch. And even now, you'll be able to tell that I'm kind of bouncing all over the place because I need to find my mojo again. But I did just watch Christy, Daisy Case Primitives, and she helped a lot with that mojo. So, plus she wanted to see my O Tannenbaum, and she is stitching that with me, and she's almost done too. So I mentioned in the beginning that I decided to go back to work part-time. I'm not working in the accounting profession like I used to. Actually, somebody, in a way, approached me to apply for a job. Here in southwestern Idaho, I think I've mentioned before that my husband is an auto shop teacher for a high school. And I've always kind of wanted the same schedule he has. So many times when our children were little, I missed spring breaks because I was right in the middle of tax season, right? March, April 15th coming up. I really couldn't do much with them. And really they stayed home a lot because I couldn't go. But now that they're grown and raised, and I have since felt like I have done enough tax seasons and enough accounting work, I really wanted to have the same schedule as my husband, but I kept pushing it off and pushing it off. But when somebody came to me with this, I said, okay, very, very, very small country school. It's kindergarten through 5th grade. I won't say the name of it, but kindergarten through 5th grade has 47 students total. K and 1st are taught together. 2nd and 3rd are taught together, and 4th and 5th are taught together, and they needed a librarian. So I applied, and yes, I took the position. I do take attendance in the morning, and a few other, I scratched my knee, could you please put a Band-Aid on it, things, but for the most part, I'm enjoying the children. We've been at school now for about a week, and I probably will have a coughing fit. I'm a little hoarse, actually. The biggest class we have this year is kindergartners. So of the 47 kids, 12 of them are kindergartners, and they need help on learning how to take care of a library book, how we don't let our dogs chew on it, we don't treat it poorly, keep it away from water and such. But this little school is just, oh, it makes my heart beat. I do have a little bit of a commute. Not bad, maybe 20 minutes each day, one way. But because of that, I kind of got out three, for the lack of a better term, I got out 3 cross stitches that were in my whips that had to kind of do with the library that I needed to pick up and started working on. This first one is Miss Bingley's Library by Plum Street Samplers. And I'm a huge Jane Austen fan. And I am doing this one, I started it with DMC and I will be finishing it with DMC. That's a pretty big house. And I am doing this on 20 count cork. 2/1, or yeah, 2/1. I just felt like I didn't want the expense of all that floss. Here are the colors, and here's the cork. And I got the roof done. You can kind of see part of my roof outline of the house, windows and whatnot. But yes, I'm just doing it in DMC. I may take this to work with me when it's done. I don't know. But I just loved it. I just loved this. I've always loved this chart. And I started this over the summer, actually, when I knew I was going to be a librarian. So that is that. The second one has been a whip since 2020. May of 2020, to be exact. This is one that I started for Stitch Mania back in 2020. Heartstring Samplery's Schoolhouse Coverlet Drum. And that drum is much bigger than it's going to be much bigger than it looks. Here is my schoolhouse. I'm doing mine in red. I believe it's 221, just DMC 221. Yep. So now I'm going to finish that. I just loved it. And I think when it's all done, I'm going to put the name of the elementary school that I'm teaching at up there. So this one has a lot of fill-in left to do, and now I'm down to the flowers. You can see the flower work and then that great big schoolhouse. So cute. And then the last one is one I just bought. Maggie's on Main had a trunk show for Erica Michaels, and I saw the actual samples there for the trunk show, and I just had to have it. This was even before I knew I was going to go back to work and be a part-time librarian. Mary Briggs from Erica Michaels. Mary Briggs, 1806. But the sentiment in this, I thought, I'm definitely going to be taking this and setting it there on the desk in my library. It says, "The greatest thing in the world is the alphabet, as all wisdom is contained therein." And I'm doing mine in, this first of all is on 28 count Vintage Country Mocha. And I'm doing this 2/2 because I want the kids to be able to see it. And this is all the further I've gotten. This is the middle. But this is a sad start, but there it is. But I love the color with this black. And this black is, I want to say it's just, now I'm mystified. 310, DMC 310. Yippers. Just plain old black. And this is in a bag I made that has really nothing to do with what's inside. I don't know why it got put in here, but just some women's stitching. Really old fabric. I mean, I've had this for a long time. But that sentiment, here it is again. Erica Michaels, Mary Briggs, 1806. And it's 148 by 136 is the stitch count. And this fabric is called Quilty Ladies by Sally Asthemeyer. Here's a picture of that up close. I really do not think you can get this anymore. This even was a scrap. I got something else on the inside and something else on the back. But I wanted a project bag out of this. So there is that. Down to two other topics. The first one is I did have also one other start over the summer. I had such a full summer, I can tell you. I got a greenhouse and it had to be delivered, and we were putting in a 8-foot deer fence, and I'll put a picture of my greenhouse. I'm so excited about my greenhouse. But it's up in the mountains. I won't be able to use it too much this fall or next spring. But eventually it will be a greenhouse and like a polytunnel, they call them, or a polytunnel, extend your growing season. I finished my Master Gardener class, so I think I'll have graduation ceremony in October, and then if I choose to go one more year, it will be an Advanced Master Gardener. There's actually 3 parts to it: Master Gardener, Continuing Master Gardener, and Advanced Master Gardener. But I think I'm going to skip the middle one and just do double duty and get the Advanced Master Gardener portion out of the way. But the greenhouse will have raised beds in it, so it can extend the growing season. The growing season up in the mountains is very short. We're talking zone 4B, 5A, maybe on a good year. So it'll be there to extend the growing season. But I am in love with my little red greenhouse, and when you see it, it's missing the cupola yet. I didn't have time to put the cupola up on it, and there's a little bunny weather vane that will go up there. But anyway. The summer was full of, like I said, I was a little bit all over the place. But what I did start, because this reminds me of when I was a young girl and in 4-H, the summers were full of lambs. I took fat lamb, and this is French Woolens by Plum Street Sampler. I went to a couple of county fairs there and down here. And I have a very, very sad small start. But this is on a piece of 36 count prairie grass by Seraphim that my friend Christy gave me. And I just have the outline of the house, or the mill, I should say, and then part of the border. But it's gonna fit just perfectly on this piece. I'm gonna love it. I think I figured it out, and it's gonna be about a 5x7. Again, French Woolens, and I'm using the DMC on this one. French Woolens by Plum Street Samplery. An older chart. This is probably from 2016. And then last but not least, with fall right around the corner, I wanted to finish, or at least put some time into something for my whip pile. And I found Not Forgotten Farms, the Reverend Gordon Squash Bottom. This has been a long time favorite of mine, and I just have not gotten it done. I'm doing this one on my scroll frame. And this linen is called, I love this linen. Some of you might raise your eyebrows. Linen Natural, and it's 18 count. But it looks like when you stitch, you're stitching on a piece of burlap. And it has just this rusticy old primitive look to it, but the holes are a little bit bigger, so you can easily stitch 2 over 1 and not have your needle fall out. And I'm pretty sure I'm just doing these with DMCs. Yep. I found a skeleton key that I put on my floss ring, and a little witch. This is actually from Hollow Day Inn that I did last fall. Yeah, last year, actually. But Gordon Squash Bottom, Not Forgotten Farm, classic chart. If Lori ever had one, definitely a classic chart. And towards Halloween, I've also did Jack Be Nimble and finished that into a pillow. And when I get out the Halloween decorations, you'll see that. Another couple little house ones that my girlfriend stitched for me. And but the Reverend, I don't think I'll do the wife. I just want to do the Reverend. He has held a special place in my heart for quite some time, so I want to get him finished up. Again, this I bought a long time ago. back when Boise had a needlework studio. 18 count linen natural. That's literally how she wrote the fabric. The address doesn't matter because she's no longer there. She hasn't been in business for a long time. But I am in love with this natural type linen. It's easy to stitch on, but 2 threads doesn't make it look too bulky. I just really like that linen to stitch on. Okay, and the last thing I want to share with you is, because I haven't visited with you probably since March, maybe the first part of April. And I'm sorry if you're hearing our air conditioning unit. I don't know if you can hear that or not, but the end of April, my husband took me to Moab, where he wanted to participate in a car show. And coming down from Idaho, you drive right past Shepherd's Bush. And I had never, ever been there. So we're pulling this trailer with a race car on it. And I said, please, just go through downtown Ogden. Drop me off. I'll walk across the street. You go find a park the car. I'll text you when I'm ready to be picked up. So he, Mr. Obliging, he is so good to me. He did that. And I did come home with a couple pieces of linen. I won't show those, but I did find 2 charts. I was kind of on a non-purchase mode, but the shop itself was heavenly. I think I could have gone like this every 6 inches and saw something new between the walls, way up high, the next space over, and yet still take in everything down, you know, at the ground level, at your knee level. It really quite reminded me of Country Sampler in Spring Green, Wisconsin, that I've also visited. Many studios, needlework studio places have LNS. It was just amazing. But most of my stuff I do get from Maggie's on Main, but I did want to support Shepherd's Bush. Maggie's is really good at ordering anything, if they don't have it, they'll order it in for you. And I get to start stitching again with my friends down at Maggie's in September. But the first chart I got was Humble and Kind by Lottie Da. And across the top it does say, stay humble and kind. But I think the thing in person this drew me was the colors of the floss. I did see this one stitched and it was just stunning. And the same with this one, Pansy Patch Quilts and Stitchery, Mrs. Beasley Summer House, and this sentiment, the skep is to the bee what the churn dash is to the quilter. So it had both quilting and stitching referenced in it. And then if you notice right here on the house and throughout the chart, actually, there's some churn dashes. Oh, love it. All right, I think that's it for me today. I have a lot of other whips and things over there in my basket. But I am planning on doing a little bit more stitching now that summer is over and I don't have quite so many things pulling at me. In the summer, there's always gardening. I'm really starting to enjoy my gardening a lot more. And like I said, I'm trying to develop a garden up there in the mountains with this big fence so the deer don't jump it over and eat everything. I did get, my husband built me 4 raised beds, but there's many more to come because this garden area is 90 by 50. And the greenhouse took up some of it, and you know, I planted some, I have a raspberry patch started, an herb bed that I want to more fully develop, and then of course put in all the drip irrigation to everything. But it's going to be a working process, 3 to 4 years, because that's how long we have to go to retire. And I kind of want it done by the time I retire, so I don't, number 1, have to spend all the money, and number 2, have to do all the work. I'd rather do it now. So enjoy your stitching. It's getting to be that time of year when it will start to cool off, and I can enjoy my stitching a little bit more. Labor Day weekend is upon us, so the last official-ish weekend of summer. So enjoy, stitch, be in your garden, read a book, whatever you may choose to do. Do it with a happy heart, and I'll see you next time.